I do make a distinction there in Acts 13 between verses 2 and 3 and 4, because you've got the men in Antioch praying and fasting and then sending out Barnabas and Paul. That's in verse 3 there. Let me just put that up so we can look at it. Acts 13:3. And it says, "And when they had fasted and prayed, they laid their hands on them and sent them away." That was the sending by the men in Antioch. And that's what ended there in Acts 14:26. And thence sailed to Antioch, from whence they had been recommended to the grace of God for the work which they fulfilled. That was the sending by those men. Well, on each side of that verse 3, you've got the sending of the Holy Ghost. Let's go back and look at verses 2 and 4. And they say, and they as these men in Antioch ministered to the Lord and fasted, the Holy Ghost said, "Separate me, Barnabas and Saul, for the work whereunto I have called them." So, being sent forth by the Holy Ghost, not by those men in this case. So you've got two sendings, a verse apart, by different senders. Being sent forth by the Holy Ghost departed, they being sent forth by the Holy Ghost departed unto Cilicia, and from there they sailed to Cyprus and started their missionary journeys, which that was with the gospel of Christ. They were teaching salvation, not just the gospel of God anymore. They went to Thessalonica after that Acts 14:26, when the men from Antioch had sent them, when that sending had expired. They went back after they had finished that. Then they went to on the same basis, the sending of the Holy Ghost with the gospel of salvation, called the work. They went to Thessalonica in Acts 17, to Corinth in Acts 18, to Ephesus in Acts 19, and to Philippi in Acts 16. So they continued that sending of the Holy Ghost, that sending called the work, and a lot went on there. I don't like to see people say that they were without a commission during that period until they got the commission to go to all men in Acts 20 verse 6, or in the temple vision they were told about it in Acts 18:22. So they did have a commission during that time. In fact, during that time is when Paul wrote, let me get it, in 1 Corinthians 9:17, "For if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward, but if against my will, a dispensation of the gospel is committed unto me." So he had been sent during that time that he wrote this in Acts 19 to dispense the gospel. And the only record we have of that is in Acts 13 verses 2 and 4, not verse 3. Verse 3 ended in Acts 14:26.